Hello and welcome to South Carolina Farm Bureau's inaugural installment of Farm Bureau Voices of Agriculture. I'm Reggie Hall, your host. Thanks for joining us. South Carolina is rich in colonial and Civil War history. We're known for our beautiful beaches and world-renowned golf courses. And while tourism contributes greatly to our state's economy, it's agriculture that sustains it. During the 20th century and before, farming was a special way of life in our state. The strong benefits from farming were always present, benefits that were great for the environment and the family. Over time, like so many other states, we've seen a lot of changes too, from mules to tools, to tractors, to satellites, to irrigation, crops, and greenhouses. Through it all, the benefits of farming in South Carolina have consistently created and added to a proud heritage for us all. In 1900, South Carolina's population was a little over 1 million people, and almost everyone lived and worked on a farm. At last count, we're closing in on 4.5 million residents, with fewer than half of us living in farm areas. But while the number of farms has gone down, the productivity of farmers has gone up. Today, like their counterparts in the rest of the country, each farmer produces enough to feed 129 people annually. From South Carolina to China, our state's farmers are feeding the world. South Carolina agriculture has an economic impact of about $35 billion and nearly 500,000 jobs. That's about a third of all the jobs in the state. Our family farmers are second in the amount of tobacco raised in the United States, and second only to California in the production of fresh peaches. We're in the top 10 states in peanut and turkey production. We also produce a lot of corn, cotton, soybeans, eggs, and nursery and greenhouse products. Now at the beginning of the 21st century, farming continues to be a special way of life. Our farmers care for the environment, protect their land and water resources, and nurture their livestock. More and more younger farmers are raising their families on the farm, and they're bringing with them the latest in technologies and efficiencies. That rich cultural past and promising future in South Carolina's ag economy is just one of the things that attracted the attention of one of the nation's most powerful businesswomen. As chairman of a nonprofit public policy organization, the Palmetto Institute, South Carolina native Darla Moore, who's from our tobacco-producing region known as the PD area of South Carolina, has thrown her support behind research to better South Carolina's ag economy. Moore and her multi-billion-dollar husband, Richard Rainwater, hosted the first South Carolina Ag Summit in 2006, sponsored in part by South Carolina Farm Bureau. They served as catalysts for the event, which has since grown in popularity, focus, and outcomes.
Last year was almost an introductory session. Let's introduce ourselves to the global agricultural sector and what's happening in the globe with the oil prices going to $100 a barrel, with the capacity, the oil production capacity maxing out or possibly dropping, with everybody competing for land, whether to produce ethanol or to produce food. It was an introduction about what was going on.
Known for her keen get-down-to-business savvy and intense sense of timing, Moore built a reputation in the banking industry by turning bankrupt institutions into profit centers. Rainwater Incorporated, her husband's business of which she is the CEO, accumulated wealth the same way. A sense of prophetic timing, the willingness to take risks, a keen sense of doing the right thing at the right time, making decisions, and giving without the expectation of getting back. It's that last characteristic that has Moore lending her skills to the agricultural industry in South Carolina, predicting a bright future for farmers who will join forces to launch a definitive plan for the future.
The economy of South Carolina is a composite of the mix of industries that we have within the state. Okay? Agriculture happens to be historically the most powerful one, but also, ironically, is going to be, in my opinion, one of the most powerful economic engines of this state in the future. It's so much ingrained in our culture and has been on its back for so many decades. You know, agriculture has been on with the advent of manufacturing and then technology, and that we seem to have lost our way economically. But given what's happened and is happening in the globe, agriculture is going to have a resurgence, I think, like we may never have seen in our lifetime.
Moore was able to report progress to those gathered for the recently held 2007 South Carolina Ag Summit. The Palmetto Institute Public Policy Group is steeped in ag economic research and is working with officials in South Carolina's Commerce Department to heighten awareness of the potential agriculture has to broaden the state's economy.
In coming back this year and rehashing what's happened over the last year and then bringing the speakers we had in this year, we are really infinitely more sophisticated.
Moore says the agribusiness community is more collectively focused on the global picture and how South Carolina farmers might play an active role. That's something South Carolina farmers will have to do, she says, to be sustainable into the future.
Start getting educated on what's going on in contemporary agriculture. Given what's happened and is happening in the globe, agriculture is going to have a resurgence.
But as much as the future of agriculture is on a global scale, Moore says agriculture's cutting edge will have the most impact locally.
I want to see us on the cutting edge of changes in agribusiness. I want to see us develop our local markets, because one of the keys in sustainable agriculture and the future of agricultural production is going to be its ability to operate locally. And that's selling its own produce, its own products locally, get out of the transportation business, recognize that the profitability components of not having to transport your products, of having them used here at home, value-added, profit improvement, prosperity improvement.
And why is one of the nation's most powerful businesswomen investing her time in family farmers of South Carolina? Darla Moore says it's because it's who she is and where she came from.
No, it sounds like, what's a nice girl like you doing in a place like this?
Well, maybe so.
Doing it in a place like this? Well, you can cut it down pretty quickly. It's the home. This is my home, and I've always had a very powerful sense of place. I attribute it to is where I come from. It's also becoming a lost characteristic in many parts of the country, that need for community, that longing for a place, for family, for, you know, it's lost. And I see a lot of in the younger people, they don't have quite the sense of comfort or confidence that actually comes from having that deep sense of, you know, I've got a place in this world.
Confidence. That's one thing Darla Moore has plenty of, as she encourages family farmers and the rest of South Carolina's agribusiness community to quit talking and start doing something to prepare for the future.
It's a one day at a time. Every day, get up every day and work on something that leads you in that direction. Every day, and just do things that are smart. We can follow plans, develop plans, and then implement plans. No talking, no just chatting. We have to do some things. Get on with it.
Get on with it. That's often one of the biggest challenges for farmers to do amidst all their responsibilities on the farm, with family and civic responsibilities. But no doubt, get on with it is what they need to do to strategically plan for their economic future and viability. To learn more about these topics, check the Palmetto Institute's website at palmettoinstitute.org, or log into South Carolina Farm Bureau's website, scfb.org. Get on with it. That's what we'll do in just a moment, as we visit the kitchen of one of the Southeast's largest vegetable producers. We'll see what they have cooking after this message.
There's nothing fresher, nothing finer than locally grown fruits and vegetables. They're tastier, sweeter, healthier, and most of us would agree they're better. That's why your South Carolina Department of Agriculture is working to make certified South Carolina grown produce and products available in stores in your neighborhood. Ask for South Carolina. Nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
Hi, I'm Hugh Weathers, your South Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Did you realize that agriculture is South Carolina's second largest industry? Our state has a long history of agriculture production and is also known for the flavor and quality of our many fruits and vegetables, from horticulture to meat, poultry, and specialty crops. Agriculture is a multi-billion-dollar industry in our state. Remember to support local agriculture when you shop. Ask for certified South Carolina. Nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
We're in the heart of South Carolina in beautiful Lexington County on the farm of W.P. Rawls and Sons Incorporated. With us is Donna Griffin. Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you too, Reggie. And this is such an honor for us. We just really appreciate the opportunity.
You're gonna whip us up something today that involves some of those good greens.
Right. We are preparing a recipe, collards with color. We are using one of the 1-pound bags of collard greens, and what we have done, which I think it really affects its taste, we have cooked them now. They're not al dente. I like to cook my greens until the crispness is gone. We've cooked them in 1 cup of water and 1 can of chicken broth.
Of those in 1 cup
that
of
is
water.
right. That is one of our bags. We're going to drain these right now. And I can't let anything stay in that pot, honey. I've got to get everything out of that pot. Get it all out. That's right. So we got a few more cooked green leaves we need to get out.
You really can't overcook these.
Well, personally, I don't think you can. A lot of people do like them al dente. I think that would depend on the recipe that you are using them in.
Right.
But again, I think the true flavor here comes from the 1 can of chicken broth as well as the 1 cup of water. One thing about this pot liquor is that you certainly don't want to waste that. You can flavor like other soups and stews with it.
All right, let me stop you there. We've got people all over the country watching this who may have just perked up their ears and when they heard pot liquor. That's something I know we talk about here in the South. What exactly is pot liquor?
That is a residual liquid content from the greens, and that certainly has some of the vitamins and minerals in it.
That's
so
good
certainly
stuff.
Good stuff. That's right. Okay, now we've cooked those collards, and we're going to put about 3 tablespoons of EVOO in a skillet, and I'm going to probably turn this burner up to medium. And we want to make sure we get that around in the skillet. That, again, is 2 tablespoons of EVOO. Now we're going to put, by the way, we grow these as well, the red bell pepper. And this is 1 medium-sized red bell pepper. Okay, Reggie, we're going to put in, now this is our versatile veggie yellow onion, which has already been diced. If you ever know about cutting up onion, these are just a real plus in the grocery store and in the kitchen. Okay, now we're going to put about half of these in there, and we will stir fry these ingredients until they're a little bit limp, until they're al dente. And
Maybe
then
till the onions get clear.
That's right.
Right.
The best recipe, again, I think the key, Reggie, is the fact that we've cooked the collards in the broth and the water. I think they're cooked well. We're going to turn this burner down, and we're going to put in the collard greens.
Just dump them right in.
And of course, we can't leave any of those leaves in the colander. Then, after we cut the burner down and cook the collards a little bit, this smells so good. This is the best recipe.
It does smell.
We're going to put just a pinch of pepper, pinch of sugar, And that brings out the sweetness of the
Right,
collards. And then a pinch of salt.
Okay. Pepper, salt, and sugar.
Right, just a pinch of each.
Right.
Now you will cook them. I turn the burner down and let this simmer a little bit. But this is just a wonderful way to use collard greens.
What do we want to look for as this sautés to know that it's done?
Well, actually, you would look for, like you say, the opaqueness of the onion.
Okay.
And the limpness of the collard greens.
Okay.
And if the bell peppers get a little dark, that means that it's cooked too much. So I think we've cooked it about to the right because they're still relatively bright.
Right.
I'm going to hold this up for a tight shot. Let your audience see. Doesn't that look yummy? Oh, and it smells so good.
It does.
The combination of the flavors of the bell pepper and the garlic, the collards, the onions.
And you rarely see color mixed in with collards. It looks delicious.
Thank you.
And we thank you so much for doing that for us.
My pleasure. Thank you, Reggie.
Hi, I'm Hugh Weathers, your South Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Did you realize that agriculture is South Carolina's second largest industry? Our state has a long history of agriculture production and is also known for the flavor and quality of our many fruits and vegetables, from horticulture to meat, poultry, and specialty crops. Agriculture is a multi-billion-dollar industry in our state. Remember to support local agriculture when you shop. Ask for certified South Carolina. Nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
There's nothing fresher, nothing finer than locally grown fruits and vegetables. They're tastier, sweeter, healthier, and most of us would agree they're better. That's why your South Carolina Department of Agriculture is working to make certified South Carolina-grown produce and products available in stores in your neighborhood. Ask for South Carolina. Nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
What do automobiles and peaches have in common? Strange question. Well, one day your automobile might just run off of peaches. South Carolina Farm Bureau partners with Clemson University, the state's leading ag research institution. And there's research underway right now that would take low-quality peaches and turn those into hydrogen gas, the fuel of the future.
The nation is going to need a number of alternative energy sources if we're ever going to move past our dependence on oil. Clemson scientists and engineers are working on producing alternative fuels. I'm Kay Drapshow, a biosystems engineer at Clemson. I'm working on producing hydrogen gas, which can be one of those alternative energy sources. Hydrogen gas can be produced by certain bacteria such as Thermatoga neapolitana. This bacteria can take agricultural byproducts and convert it to hydrogen gas. In our lab, we found that using bioreactors and agricultural feedstocks such as waste peaches, we can produce hydrogen gas that is in a mixture of other gases, but that the hydrogen can be as much as 60 to 70%, although 25 to 30% hydrogen gas is more typical. Currently in South Carolina, 200 million pounds of peaches are produced each year, but 10% of that crop, about 20 million pounds, is wasted. So by using these bacterial cultures, we can convert that waste resource into an energy and provide benefit to the agricultural producer. We have a long way to go before we can replace our use of fossil fuels with alternative energies. But at Clemson University, we are working on developing the technologies to produce these fuels in an environmentally sound manner that's also economical and provides a benefit to the South Carolina ag producers.
Running cars off of peaches sounds kind of strange. You know, one thing that's not strange in South Carolina, though, is the natural wildlife habitat provided by our family farmers. In each installment of South Carolina Farm Bureau, Voices of Agriculture, will team up with our state Department of Natural Resources to bring you the latest in news and information involving the great outdoors. Here's one of their reports now.
There's nothing fresher, nothing finer than locally grown fruits and vegetables. They're tastier, sweeter, healthier, and most of us would agree they're better. That's why your South Carolina Department of Agriculture is working to make certified South Carolina-grown produce and products available in stores in your neighborhood. As for South Carolina, nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
I'm Hugh Weathers, your South Carolina Commissioner of Agriculture. Did you realize that agriculture is South Carolina's second largest industry? Our state has a long history of agriculture production and is also known for the flavor and quality of our many fruits and vegetables, from horticulture to meat, poultry, and specialty crops. Agriculture is a multi-billion-dollar industry in our state. Remember to support local agriculture when you shop. Ask for certified South Carolina. Nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
For more information on that story or any others that we've featured this half hour, please log on to South Carolina Farm Bureau's website, scfb.org. That concludes this installment of South Carolina Farm Bureau Voices of Agriculture. I'm your host, Reggie Hall.